What's up, everybody? We are here for the first basketball episode of Palm City Chucks.
Let's
As Chris
go.
mentioned before, now this is another sport where we can really shoot the shit.
Yeah,
Um, we
we
know
feel
our stuff.
comfortable here.
Yeah, we know our stuff. And we are super excited to get started with the basketball series. Um, and no better way to get started than talk about some of the contenders in both the East and the West Conference. The teams we think are the strongest and is the pool of teams that might make it to the NBA Finals from each side. Now, there could be some major surprises, and those are always fun. But these
Yeah.
are the teams we think have a real chance at making it into that final series of the year. So, Chris, let's start with you.
All right. Well, let's start with the East. Got both of our teams there. Celtics for you and Sixers for me. I think both of these teams are contenders. I also believe the Cavs and the Knicks are contenders. Two teams that I think are kind of on the outside looking in, but may surprise are the Pacers and Bucks. I like their rosters as well. I don't know. For the Bucks, I feel like they're aging with Dame, and it's kind of starting to feel like the same old, same old. Another factor, not a huge Doc Rivers guy. I've lived it. I just don't think he's going to elevate that team, and they need another piece to elevate them, whether it's a player or a coach.
On
But yeah,
Doc,
I
mean,
kind of
I've
see
lived
them
it
on the
too.
outs.
It was
What's
pretty
that?
good. On Doc, I lived it too. It was pretty good.
Yeah,
Brought us
you
brought us
did
one of
live it.
these.
That was one of those. That was a hell
Yeah,
of a team, though. It really was.
yes, it
And for
was.
the
I mean,
2K fans out there, that was a fun 2K team.
a genuine big four, in my opinion. A lot of people
Yeah,
say the big three and forget about Rondo. That's a true
yeah,
big
that's just
four, if you
wrong.
ask me. Yeah,
Yeah, that was a big
Rondo
four,
was pulling out
and
2020s, man. Uh,
dude, I know it's
yeah,
freaking unreal. But yeah, I agree. That was a big four, and it was one of the first big fours in a while. Like you could argue some of these old great teams had big fours, but like Lakers, Celtics. But yeah, I don't. I mean, even that '83 Sixers team, you could say was a big four. But yeah, that was for sure a big four, and Rondo deserves his flowers. That guy, I loved his play style. I mean, he was a
100%,
true point guard.
100%. One of my favorite
We
players of
don't
all
see
time,
point
for sure.
guards like him anymore in the league.
Nope,
It's a dying
nope.
breed, which is a shame.
I don't know. Straight dimes and drive to the hole and score. Like, none of
Yeah.
this pull up three from 35 feet
Oh,
out.
don't get me going, dude. Yeah, let's just get this out of the way. I hate Curry. you guys, you guys will find that out. But yeah, I just figured I'll rip it off like a band-aid. Um,
You
but
changed the
yeah, what
game, man.
that he did, that he did. But I'm curious, what are your thoughts on the East? What are those big name teams that you see competing come the end of the year?
Yeah, I mean, so I'm just going to preface this with, like, yeah, I'm a Celtics fan. I get it. So maybe this comes off as biased. But there's three tiers for me in the East in terms of contenders: 1A, 1B, 1C. 1A, Celtics and Celtics alone. Far and away, best team in the NBA, in my opinion. I mean,
Yeah, I
they won a
especially in
championship
the
last
East,
year.
it's you can't dispute it really.
Yeah. I mean, they won the chip last year. The team didn't change. So, I mean, there's not much to say there. I just think they continue the dominance, and that's 1A for me. I really think the Celtics will at least make it to the finals again. Now, some of the West teams are very good, and in a 7-game series, anything can happen. But getting to the
Yeah.
finals, Celtics, in my mind, no doubt. Then there's some 1B teams, the teams that could probably, they could do it. Like, they could take down the Celtics and make it instead. And there I got the Cavs and the Pacers. Cavs are Really great team. Donovan Mitchell's fantastic. I mean, great player. Spiderweb, you know how it is.
Yeah.
Spider
Well,
Mitchell.
and come playoff time, I mean, this guy's different.
Oh yeah. I mean,
So,
and they got Evan Mobley and Jared Allen.
yeah,
So there's a
they've
lot.
got the
Darius
pieces.
Garland. I mean, they got a lot of good pieces. They really do. Um, and then the Pacers. I mean, we all know about Tyrese Halliburton. He's fantastic. He's one of those guys that's probably as close as we're gonna get to a Rondo of today's age. Like still
Yeah,
big
I
time
would agree with that,
passer.
actually.
Like big time passer,
Mhm.
but also can shoot the three, which because of Steph Curry, for sure, you have to be able to shoot the three ball to play in the NBA and get meaningful minutes. You can be a center, maybe get away with it, but even those are getting phased out. You have to be able to shoot an open three. That's
Yeah.
just how the game is played. But Halliburton, awesome. Benedict Mathurin, I mean, he'll probably break out a little bit. He wasn't horrible last year. He's another young good piece for them. Acquiring Siakam, that's a really really big get for them. Still got
He's
Miles
their
Turner.
X factor, in my opinion.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
to be
that
fair,
guy
and
can
this is why I
ball.
put them on. This is why I put them on 1B, is that I think Siakam will make Siakam just showing up in the playoffs. I'm just not sure, And
Yeah.
I don't know that he's like the big time game changer. I think he'll throughout the regular season be very important, but can he change the game enough in the playoffs? I'm not so sure about that. I could definitely be wrong, but not quite sure that gets them over the hump to really be on the same level as the Celtics here. Then I got two 1C teams that maybe if everything goes right, but probably not.
That's
Sixers
the
and
Sixers.
Celtics. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're right. They need a lot to go right. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
I mean, we'll end with the Sixers. Start with the Bucks here. As you said, aging team. I think their window has probably passed at this point, but the talent is still there if it all comes together. Which to this point in the season it has not.
No.
They are having a very rough start to the year. But if it all does, if Dame plays like Dame, if Giannis plays like Giannis, Chris Middleton, he's never going to be what he was before that knee injury.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if he can shoot the ball effectively, that's probably all they need out of him at this point. And Brook Lopez is gonna Brook Lopez,
He's a stud. And
He
Bobby
is
Portis, too. He deserves a shout.
Oh, I agree.
That guy's awesome.
I do agree with that, for sure. Sorry, some mic difficulties here. But, yeah. So, on to the Sixers. I mean, I like Maxey. Probably the only Sixer I like. And that's because he was a Kentucky boy. I'm a Kentucky fan myself. I knew that guy was going to be a stud when he came into the league. Very pissed off he fell as far as he did, and especially pissed off that he fell to the Sixers. So,
Yeah, that
there's
was a major steal in that draft.
Yeah, I'm aware. I'm aware, and it pains me all the time. But yeah, so there's him. Then you got, we'll talk about the other big guy, JoJo Embiid. But how many games is he going to play? I mean, that's the real question. Definitely no back-to-back, so that already gets him down into the 60s, I think.
Yeah, you lose, I believe 15 is what
Yeah.
they play in a season. So, you're losing 15 games off rip. He already hasn't played to start this year. He's now been suspended for 3 games. So we're looking at next week will be his first game action. And as we all know, there's like no in shape. Like there's only basketball shape.
Yep.
And there's going to be rust. He's gonna be, slogging it up and down the court. I think he'll still be effective because he's so skilled and just so big. I mean, the guy's giant. He's a matchup nightmare. So I still think he'll be good out the gates, but he's not going to be putting up his MVP numbers most likely off rip. But yeah, I mean, you said it. It's all about the health with this Sixers team. I mean, we already have seen since Paul George has come back, they have been improved. I mean, he's currently playing his second game back, which I was just taking a peek at. And, I mean, you see the offense is moving a lot better with him in the lineup. He's freeing up good shots for other guys. For the time being, most importantly, Maxey, who was shooting terrible to start this year. I like Nick Nurse a lot, but I thought that was rather dumb. His approach with just having Maxey, it seemed like he wanted Maxey to just win them games. And Maxey is a wonderful player, and the sky's the limit for him. But that being said, he's not LeBron James. Like he's not just going to single-handedly win you a game. And it seemed like that was our approach. I mean, it was just chucking. All he was doing was chucking. I have written down here for the year, which he had last game with Paul George, which already helped his percentages. But for the year, he's at 40.8% for field goal percentage and 29.6 for 3-point field goal percentage.
That's
I mean,
tough.
this is a guy who usually shoots around 40% from three and, just under 50% from the field. So I expect that to improve now that George is back. Like I said, you already saw that the first game back against the Suns team that was really good and healthy. And, it came down to the last shot of the game. So I'm hopeful. I'm optimistic. But yeah, at the end of the day, these guys got to play enough games to make playoffs, and they have to stay healthy once they're in playoffs. If they do that, I truly believe they can beat any team. That being said, the Celtics are far and away the favorite out of the East, in my opinion. They're the best team in the league. You said it. They were last year, and they brought everybody back. And so far this year, they're clicking. They didn't miss a beat.
Yep. 100%. I mean, I'm not sure I agree with that they can beat anybody, though. Like, I don't think the talent on your team matches up to at least a few other teams in the league. I don't think it's quite on the same level. Once you get outside of Maxey, George, and Embiid, I think there's a pretty stark drop-off that you don't necessarily see with quite a few other teams in the league. But, I mean, if they stay healthy, they can definitely compete, and they could win. But I don't know if it's a...
Well, to that point, I think they did improve their depth pieces a lot from last year. Signing Drummond was huge. They have a guy now that can play backup center. Last year we did not have a backup center, and it hurt. I mean, Embiid misses games. He's going to miss games. We know this. And to just not be in the competition at all every game he missed was a huge factor. And, it hurt our record big time, and we were in the play-in last year. And I feel like this year we can avoid the play-in with the depth pieces we've added, and we kept good pieces. Like Lowry played good for us last year once we got him, and Oubre was good as well, and we kept those guys, and then we added more three-point threats, and that's really all you need. I truly believe the recipe for success in the NBA is you have your stars, you have 2 or 3 stars, and you need that nowadays. You need probably 3. 2's probably not enough. And then you need role pieces that are 3 and D guys. Good defense and good three-point shooting. And I believe the Sixers added that. To this point in the year, they haven't shown that, and their shooting percentages are horrible, one of the worst in the league. But I think once they get these pieces back in the mix, you're going to see improvement from this squad. And like I said, I think we've already seen it in the one game Paul George has played. And it was a game in which Paul George was extremely rusty and not effective himself with the basketball. But he was helping everybody else around him just by being on the court as almost a distraction. Like I said, it helped Maxey shooting. It helped, a bunch of guys. And Yabusele, he had a great game too. That's another piece the Sixers have added that
I do like him.
I think can benefit the team.
He started as a Celtic, by the way.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Yeah. Couldn't cut it over here in the
Yeah.
real.
Well, you're
Contenders
welcome for Drew
bracket.
Holiday.
Yeah. So sorry he wanted to leave for a successful team.
My heart.
I mean, you're lucky we're doing this now, and not like when we were growing up, dude. Think about the
Oh, I
Tony
know,
Roden
right?
days.
Sheesh. Yeah. Anyway, can we go a little easier on me on basketball podcasts? I mean, I've suffered enough with this team. That's for damn
Yeah.
sure.
You have.
MCW, come on now.
Yeah, Michael Carter Williams, bro.
Yeah.
He
But
was
I
a
love the Tony
sensation.
Roden
He was
one.
a sensation when he started, though. He was good.
Oh, he was. He
Yeah.
was.
Oh,
But
gosh. I have
dude,
loved
ugh.
those days when the Sixers got
oh,
like 12
all these
wins
names
a
are just
year.
coming to my mind, and I just flush it, dude. My gosh,
Yeah,
terrible.
Sixers.
Yeah, I'm very
I wonder-
thankful for Embiid. I mean, he really turned it around, the process, right? But yeah,
What
he
process,
made us.
guy? You gotta win a playoff series for it to mean anything. It's
Hey,
like seriously.
hey! We win one playoff
Oh,
series
sorry. Excuse me.
in the lackluster Eastern Conference.
And then, pretty
If
sure
we were in
probably
the
lost to
West,
the
we
Celtics.
probably would never win a series. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
and we could go all day. The Sixers have had their chances, and they had their shot at legit rings. And part of that was like, I feel like if Embiid was Embiid now, back then, I mean, it would have been done. Like when we had Jimmy and Tobias and Jimmy Butler, Tobias, Ben Simmons before, what happened there. But yeah, that team, and then we had the Kawhi frickin' shot, and it just killed us. But in that series,
was a
Embiid was
beautiful
missing
shot.
games for like being sick and like just like he was a different player back then. And I feel like if it was now, he plays those games, we win that series. Then you just had to beat the Bucks when it was baby Giannis, and I think we would have. I mean, and Jimmy's a dog come playoffs. Everybody knows this. And, that
Playoff
changes
Jimmy.
the whole landscape of the NBA. Because then we make the finals, you play the hurt Warriors, and we win. And then after that, you're signing Jimmy Butler. And then, like, it's crazy how the NBA can spiral like that. Like, there's all these different conspiracies. But that was our best shot. I mean, the year we lost to the Hawks was absolutely disgusting.
that was
Like I couldn't
awesome.
believe that. That was another
awesome.
decent chance at a ring, but yeah, I mean, it's a shame. You can't. The windows are only so big for teams, and when you don't get it done when you should, it stings and it haunts you. Because I mean,
think your window is closed. Personally,
exactly.
I really don't see
like,
it happening.
You're proving
Like-
my point. I mean,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm saying. Like we need miracles for it to be done. I'm not bandwagoning this one. I'm not picking the Sixers to win the finals. I'm just not. But I definitely believe they can. But they need stars to align. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. We'll see. I mean, they're in a better place than they were a long time ago. I am curious what happens when Embiid is gone, and when is Embiid gone?
Yeah. Those are
That's
good
a
questions.
big question for me. The when is, I'm very curious about that. I don't think I think he loves and hates Philadelphia at the same time. I think it's a love-hate
I would agree.
relationship.
And that's a lot of players in this town. I mean,
Yeah.
we're brutal. So if you can't deal with that, then we're not for you. But, I think he can deal with it because he's so talented and he's so good that he then gets the love. And we love harder than any other city, too. So if you work hard and you get the job done, I mean, you're going to do just fine in Philadelphia. But, yeah, if you don't have the chops to handle criticism, yeah, you're not for us.
Yeah. I mean, Boston's not exactly an easy place either. I'm just throwing that out
No,
there. But
and you're the same way too.
Yeah.
You love hard. Like if
Yeah.
you frickin' are a
Yeah.
hard-nosed guy and you get the job done every night, Boston's going to love you back. And
that
Yeah.
is why Marcus Smart, probably my favorite player. Honestly, I think he has to be. I love that guy. Love that guy.
yeah,
Always
he's a
played
dog.
hard.
I was always a fan too. even in the draft, I thought he was one of the best guys coming out of that draft, which, I mean, you could argue he was a bust his first few years, but, he never stopped grinding, and he's one of
Nope.
those guys. Like, you just love the work ethic, and you see what happens when you work hard. I
It
mean,
pains
he's a
me
baller.
pains me so much that he did not get a ring with us. We
Yeah.
got it after he left. That really hurts me because he is the reason, in my opinion, the Celtics didn't go through um, a session like the Sixers did. Celtics missed playoffs for the first year in a long time. Draft Marcus Smart that offseason. Gets us right back into the playoffs. Don't miss again.
Yeah.
Haven't missed since. And Marcus
Yeah.
Smart was a very, very big reason for that. And I just
Yeah,
love the guy.
and so were the Sixers trading for Markel Fultz.
Oh yeah, I mean,
You're
thank
welcome.
you. No,
Hey.
gosh, 16-year-old me, or I think it was 16-year-old me, sitting there over the summer, watching the draft, and it's like, Celtics #1 pick traded to the Sixers for Markel Fultz. Still get Tatum. What a beautiful thing, man. Beautiful thing.
Yeah,
Got
but you
the
gotta
best-
hate Duke, right?
I do hate Duke. I do hate that he went to Duke.
This is why he's a Jaylen Brown guy.
Yeah. Hey, I mean,
Which I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you are, right? I certainly am.
I am a
Tatum's
Jaylen
a
Brown
stud,
guy.
but I prefer Jaylen Brown.
I agree. I think Jaylen Brown is the face because everyone thought that he was going to be the face. And don't get me wrong, he is an absolute... He is a star, a true superstar in the NBA now. That was maybe questionable
Just
coming
a
into
bench
last
warmer
year.
in the Olympics.
Yeah, well... That was... First off, I disagree with some of those lineups. We don't really need to get into that. Tatum should
No, I
have been
know.
in the
I just-
rotation there.
Hey,
But-
not many jabs I can throw at this team,
Yeah.
so I'm going to take them.
Yeah, but like I was saying, Tatum is a star, but Jaylen Brown is the hidden gem. He is a true diamond. I mean, he's awesome.
Yeah.
I love Jaylen Brown so much.
Finals
I mean, he can
MVP,
shoot.
man.
And like you were saying about work ethic and stuff, this guy could not shoot for shit when we drafted him, like at all. First year, still couldn't shoot. But over the years, he's become an excellent three-point shooter. Like a guy that you trust to take a last-minute three over two guys and think it might go in. I mean, he is that type of guy now. And he
Yeah.
also plays super hard-nosed defense, which he does not get credit for as much as I think that he should. He plays excellent defense. And that is also the main reason like I put him over Tatum personally. I'll be honest, because I think they're pretty comparable on the offensive end. I think that Jalen's athleticism and driving to the paint is a little better than Tatum's, although Tatum's a great finisher, don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And even though Jalen can shoot, I think Jason is a bit better in the mid-range and the three-point shooting by just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean,
So I
you're
think they're-
comparing great with great, so it's
Yeah,
tough to do.
Exactly. So I think
Um,
they're pretty equal on that side. And then defense, I just got to give it to Jalen. I do.
Yeah, I agree.
My gripe with
Another
him, though-
reason why I hate your team so much, dude. That was another pick in the draft. Like, I swear, the Celtics get the guy I want every time.
we got both of them
And
at
Brown
3,
was
by the
one.
way.
Like, what was that?
Got both of them at number 3, by the way.
Yeah. Which is ridiculous considering you're making playoffs every year. How are you getting the third pick every year? But I mean,
Because the
it's a great
Brooklyn
front
Nets are
office.
dumb.
Yeah, yeah, dude, don't even get me started. That was ridiculous. There's so many loopholes in the NBA. We could just tangent, but yeah, that was insane that the Nets tried that. I'm shocked.
That has to be
I'm
the
shocked
worst
they
trade in
didn't
the NBA
somehow
all
get
time,
Doc
bro.
Rivers too. Like, what the heck?
Yeah, has to be the worst trade in the NBA of all time. Has to be. I mean,
Yeah.
that was disgusting.
Yeah, it built your chance at a dynasty. We don't know
Oh,
if
yeah.
they are yet, but it
We'll
built
see.
this. It built this
Yeah.
team, and back to you mentioned Jaylen Brown's defense, and I just want to point out that is why your team is over the top. your team is amazing defensively. I mean, you go up and down the roster, and the guys can do it both ways. I mean, to have Drew Holiday and Derek White as your backcourt's insane. Like, they're just Clamp City. And you look at
Yep.
teams and what they have. A lot of teams have the point guard. Like, they truly do. It's probably the best position in the NBA as far as, like, ability league-wide. And you don't have to worry about getting 40 bopped or whatever. Like, it just doesn't happen with those guys covering them.
Yeah.
And they can do it on the offensive end, too. Like, your team is just stacked. Everybody knows that. Let's talk about some other teams that can maybe surprise. A team you didn't mention that I do want to talk about out of the East is the Knicks. The addition of Cat, I think, is huge. Big Julius Randle fan. I think he's really good, but I think they're on different levels. Cat can score there's very few centers that can put up the numbers he can do, and his 3-point shooting is just remarkable. But yeah, the
Kentucky
addition
boy.
of him, they got a bunch of Villanova guys still. They're still kind of keeping that together, and I mean they're ballers. I mean Hart does all the hard work. He's the hard nosed guy. He's gonna be the scrappy one. He's gonna be the guy getting rebounds, and I mean he plays way bigger than he is, and he plays with a lot of heart, pun intended. But yeah, that Knicks team is something to worry about now, I think, with the addition of Cat.
We'll see. I'm not sure I believe in their depth. I think that's where they get beat.
Yeah.
But
Come
they definitely
playoffs,
they put out a
sort
good
of
starting
starters
lineup
are
for
pulling the
sure.
minutes.
Yeah, I mean, they have a good starting lineup. Don't get me wrong, but
Right.
I just think the depth kills them. And even in playoffs, you need starters can do 40, some like 36. So you need
Yeah, you need
8
8
to
to 10
12.
minutes. Yeah, 8 to 12.
Yeah. And sometimes
Yeah, I feel you. That is
that's-
definitely their weakness.
Yeah. We'll see. But I mean, it's a fair shout. I think
Yeah, they deserve to be mentioned, I think, for
Yeah.
sure. But I do like your Pacer pick as well. I know you spent some time on them, but I do want to say, like I mentioned, Siakam, I think, is their X factor. What he can do with the ball as a power forward is pretty freaking awesome. You see that with Giannis with the Bucks too. Like big guys that can handle and create their own shot. Even though Giannis is more, I'm just gonna bulldoze you. But
No
yeah,
one can stop
Siakam
that
is very skilled. I was very upset when he went to the Pacers because I really wanted the Sixers to add him. I used to beg years ago for the Tobias Harris Siakam trade, and
Nobody
very
wanted
quickly
Harris,
you
bro.
found out there was no way the Raptors would do that because Siakam is a stud.
Yep.
And yeah, I agree. I think the Pacers are a team that could surprise.
Yeah. All right, with that, let's move on to the West and talk about them a little bit.
Yeah.
This one I found I couldn't really tier this list, to be honest.
Yeah. I don't think you can really.
I got 6 teams here. I mean, I'll just list them out. Start
Okay.
off. Thunder, the Warriors, Phoenix Suns, Dallas Mavericks, Minnesota Timberwolves, and, of course, the Denver Nuggets. If I had to, split that out into some favorites, I top 2, Thunder and Nuggets probably. I mean,
Wow.
maybe the Wolves, maybe, but them losing Cat is a big thing for me personally. As you
Well,
said,
we're gonna learn a lot about Ant this year with
Yeah.
that move, because I mean it was kind of 1A 1B with Cat, but I mean it's him now, it's his show, so I mean he's gonna have 30 shots a night or something. Let's see what he does with it.
yeah. See, but as I look, I just keep saying some more teams. I said the West, there's just a lot of
Yeah.
talent there. It's kind of hard to split them out. I would say
It really is.
Thunder, in my opinion, are the best team in the West. That's what I say that with confidence. But which, by the way, that's awesome. Thunder, my second favorite team.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
get
You're
that
gonna
out
get the
there.
dream finals opportunity this year.
Exactly. I would
That's my
love that.
prediction. Is
Yeah,
that
same.
matchup
That
for
is
the
also
record?
my
So
matchup prediction.
yeah,
And Thunder, just for some background, people, so you know where I'm coming from. Fell in love with him because of Mr. Kevin Durant. I am a big Kevin Durant stan. Um, love that guy. Love that guy.
you
There were
don't.
many years and still possibly some conversations today where I would take Kevin Durant over LeBron James. So, call me crazy. I know. I
Well,
get it.
to that point, before you move on, I've always said if a team was building an NBA player in a laboratory, it would literally come out being Kevin Durant.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the guy's 7 feet tall and he moves like a shooting guard. And
Yeah.
I mean, he's a bucket. You can never contest his shot the way he shoots as well, like the form of his
Such a high
shot.
release. Yeah.
It's insane. Yeah, you can't guard the guy because of that shot and how he shoots it. But and the driving ability, I mean, and he's had years where he was like not going to make a defensive team or anything, but
Yeah.
a very solid defender as well. He can do it both ways when he wants to. That's the thing with the NBA. There's a lot of when he wants to. But come playoffs, you got to assume he will. And yeah, I just wanted to throw
Yeah.
that in there because he truly is like what I think
Yeah.
you would make in a lab to play basketball.
Yeah, and I think how the careers went, like, don't get me wrong, I can understand why most people would go with LeBron there. I get it. I'm not an idiot. But one thing I will stand on is I think Kevin Durant might be the best scorer ever. That guy,
That's kind of what I was getting
yeah,
at. I think I would pick
yeah,
him as the best scorer ever.
yeah.
But yeah, you can't bash LeBron too much because
No, he's
he
LeBron.
is the king.
He's LeBron.
But yeah, he is Bron.
I will
He
say,
do be Bronin.
I do think there's a bit to be said about what they were asked to do when they were younger and how that formed their games.
It's true. I mean,
LeBron had to do
Durant
everything
had
in Cleveland.
Westbrook and Harden on his
Yeah.
team too. Like,
Exactly.
yeah,
Like
LeBron
LeBron had
was
to do
one-man
everything.
show.
He had to assist. He had to rebound. He had to score. KD's job, like he's a very capable passer, excellent passer when he wants to be, but that's just not what his game grew into. He didn't have to really rebound because his freaking point guard wanted to go rebound. So,
yeah,
um,
that's true.
so I just think there's something to be said with that argument. I
There
wonder how many
is,
one-on-ones have been played between those two, like behind closed doors,
Oh gosh,
and what the result of that is. I really am. I'd be curious to know.
dude, get the popcorn going. I want to see that.
I would watch that over and over, for
Yeah.
real.
But I will say, kind of to combat your point there, LeBron on the Cavs, I mean, he did everything still. And he had Kyrie and Kevin Love. And Kevin Love
Wow.
was one of the best rebounders in the league.
Early days. I'm talking early days. Like
Early,
when LeBron
early.
had
Okay.
freaking Anderson Varejao, all right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
um,
that's true.
which not disrespect Anderson Varejao, good player in his own right, but he's not the names you just dropped there, a Kevin Love and a Kyrie Irving. What I'm
Right.
talking about is
But
like,
LeBron still did it all when he had those other pieces.
no, and
Is
that's
kinda
what
my
I'm saying.
point.
That's
But
what
I
I'm
know you're
saying.
saying different timeline, so
No.
yeah.
So no, that's exactly what I'm saying. Actually, like you're making my point is when KD came into the league, he didn't have to assist and rebound for his team to be successful.
I see what you mean. So he
You
didn't
could
like
just-
develop the skill because he didn't need
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, and it's not even like
Yeah.
necessarily develop the skill. It says he have it. It just that didn't become his game. That wasn't like a big part of his game because like
I got you.
you got to think about
We're good.
rebounding.
We're
That's
crystal
honestly
now.
an effort thing. Yeah. So like, so that's all I'm saying is I think their games were crafted by different beginnings. But yeah, both great players in the end. But back to some of these other teams. Thunder. Start with them. I mean, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, awesome. Could totally win an MVP in his career. When he was drafted, can't say I thought that was possible. I thought he would be a really good player, but MVP, I definitely wouldn't have thought that, to be honest. Clippers got to be banging their heads against the wall for that trade. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, I remember talking about him with you. Like, we were all over him being good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. I don't remember us talking about MVPs.
Yeah, exactly. Like All-Star, absolutely. MVP, whew, I can't say I saw that one coming, but great, good for him. I mean, so we got him. You got Chet. I mean,
Yeah,
what more can you ask for? You got
bro. And this year, you can already see he took the next step.
oh, he did. I
He
mean,
is
in his matchup against
terrifying this
Wemby,
year so
he
far.
owned Wemby. Like
He did.
Wemby did not hold a candle at all
Oh my
to
God.
to
Wemby
Chet.
Wemby did more harm than good that
Oh
night.
yeah, 100%. Then you got the two Jalen Williams, which is hilarious, by the way. Um, so love that, and just overall, a really, really great team. Like
They're
they're
deep and
excellent.
they're so young. They're
Yep.
so young. It's scary, but it's cool because
Yeah.
like Thunder aren't my number two team, but I've never beefed with the Thunder, and I'm all for it. Like if they wanna pop off the next 5 years, I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
And after the Kevin Durant thing with the Warriors and all that too, like I feel like this fan base is just owed this.
Oh, I
Like
agree.
they're owed a really good team and a contending team, and I think they will do just that. And I just think I think it's perfect.
You brought it up, so let's talk about it briefly. The Kevin Durant to the Warriors thing. I mean,
Yeah, that
I,
clearly
I don't
didn't
have a problem
hurt
with
your
that.
view of KD too much.
I didn't have a problem with that. I mean, I don't have a problem with players that stay with. Kevin Durant was with the Thunder for a long, long time before he made that move. I mean, he
Yeah.
was. And
Well, I
that
think
entire
the
time, they didn't give him what he needed to win, and they were heading in a direction that was away from winning at that point. They were not heading towards winning. That's not where they were at. So he wanted to win, and ultimately,
yeah,
I can
that he
respect
did.
that.
Yeah, I respect that too. I think the main thing was them being up 3-1. That's
Oh,
why
I
this
mean, yeah,
became a whole ordeal. Was they had it. They proved they could beat the Warriors, and they collapsed and didn't, but the proof was still there. They had the pieces, they had enough to do it. Just don't let Andre Robertson shoot too many threes. But
yeah,
yeah, that they had the pieces to do it. And I mean, we're going back in time, so I'm not sure if this is facts, but I'm pretty sure that same team is pretty much what rolled out the next season minus Kevin Durant.
maybe,
So,
maybe. I could be conflating years a little bit. Like I said, we are heading back there, but
right.
more or less, like I don't think that he knew he was going to win a ring with the Warriors because they were that team, and I respect
Oh,
that.
it was a
But
sure thing.
yeah,
I mean, I was
and
fucking I was
here's
so
something
mad, dude.
else.
As
Here's
a
another
Curry
thing.
hater, I was beyond pissed when he did it.
I mean, here's another thing that I'll add that this is really the big thing where I'm just like, okay, is Kevin Durant didn't go to the Warriors and tag along. He is the
No, he
reason
won
they
Finals
won those
MVPs.
chips. Yeah, like
Yeah.
he's the reason they won the chips.
Right.
So
He was the best guy on the team.
yeah, I mean he's Kevin
Yeah.
Durant, so
Yeah, right.
better
But
than
that is,
Steph.
I mean, we are talking about Steph Curry too.
Yeah,
But
no,
yeah,
yeah,
he was the
better
best
than
player
Steph.
on the team. Everyone knew that when he joined the team. I
Yeah,
mean, he was joining a team that's already won without him, and he was what, replacing Harrison Barnes? Like, hello.
yeah, that is so true. Disrespectful to Harrison Barnes, but he's
Oh,
not
I
Kevin
mean, he's
Durant.
a good player in his own
Yeah,
right, but he's not Kevin Durant.
yeah,
My
nobody's Kevin
gosh.
Durant but Kevin Durant. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
But yeah,
Um,
to wrap it up, that was my beef with it. I think that was
yeah,
the public's beef with it. It was because they were up 3-1. If
yeah,
that series was, if they got swept, like, sure, go get your ring, buddy. And like you said, he put in his time there. So it's nothing like that. It's the fact that they were up 3-1. For
that's
me,
fair.
anyway. That's why it really irked me. And I'm also a guy who doesn't like Golden State. I don't like Curry. It sucked. I was so mad when it happened.
Yeah, very fair. But yeah, so let's talk about Thunder. You mentioned Curry, your favorite player in the NBA. Warriors, another team that could do something here. No Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson a Warrior no more.
Yeah.
Probably doesn't matter. I mean,
Yeah, at this point in his career, I agree with you. It
yeah,
was, it was, you're reminiscing about the past and, just trying to keep the group together is really the only reason they would have kept him. If they're
yeah,
serious about winning, which clearly they are, the best move was to let him go, and that's what they did.
yeah. I mean, he wanted too much money for what he was going to produce. I mean, the
Exactly.
Mavs, in my opinion, ended up overpaying for him. So,
Yeah. Which the season's young. We don't
yeah,
know what he means to the Mavs yet, but I agree with you. Paying old heads like that, really scary. I mean, Sixers are doing it with Paul George. It scares me. It's a
yeah.
lot of money.
I know
I
that's
mean,
the
he's gonna
problem
be
with these
pushing
big
40
names
when
when
he's
they get
done.
old. Like they've been used to contract increase after contract increase after contract increase, and they just think they should get paid that much. And like respectfully, you're not that player anymore.
Yeah,
Like you're
yeah.
not.
Sixers ran into it with Harden too. It's
Yeah,
like, sorry, dude, we're not paying you that.
yeah.
Like,
So we'll see, we'll see. But yeah, so Warriors, they also got Kuminga, Kevon Looney, still got Draymond. I mean,
yeah, they got the
so
pieces.
they do, they do. On to the Suns. Kevin Durant, we just talked about him for 5-10 minutes. Devin Booker, of course. So another guy I really really like. He's awesome. So excited to see that. Bradley Beal. I'm curious to see if those three play a little bit better together this year because Beal
So
definitely.
far, it seems like it.
Yes, but last year Beal definitely didn't pull his weight in my opinion. He was not
No.
Bradley Beal.
Yeah, I agree. Which I
So
think that's a very real reality. I
yeah,
mean, you look at the Wizards teams he was on. I mean, even when John Wall was healthy, Bradley Beal wasn't the Bradley Beal we think of.
yeah,
Like he was good, but like we think of when Wizards were his team. And yeah, I agree with you. That's a very real issue, and I don't think he is what they thought he was when
yeah.
he's surrounded by Kevin Durant and Booker. But that being said, so far this year, they've all played really well together, and the Suns totally look like contenders.
Very fair, very fair. Another one for me, Mavs. I mean, Luca. Not much has to be said there. He's excellent. Kyrie added Klay Thompson. Derek Lively seemed to really take a step forward in his progression at the end of last year. Like, he was good in the finals. He was scary. He was scary. So, if he continues to develop along that path, he could be a really, really important piece for them. And,
Yeah. That's exactly what the Mavs have been missing for years.
mm-hmm.
Was that good big. And yeah, I think you're right. There's a chance they have it now. But yeah, he's very young. There's a lot to learn about him still before we give him the stamp of approval. But yeah, it's a good piece. And yeah, the addition of Clay we talked about. But yeah, it's a team that could definitely make some noise. But like you said, it's all about Luca. I mean, this is one of the best players in the league. So whenever you have that, you're looking good.
Oh, I agree. I agree. Another team here. Got two more that I think could contend in the West. Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, this is a bit of an interesting one for me, as we talked about earlier, them trading away Cat to the Knicks, bringing in Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo. Now, I think the DiVincenzo piece is actually a pretty important piece of this trade, I will say. I think some backup guard depth is kind of something they were lacking, and maybe even DiVincenzo starting for them. I honestly don't know right now at the top of my head, but I think that's a really important piece for the Timberwolves. But I think undeniably going from a Cat Gobert front court to a Randall Gobert front court is a drop off. So we'll see how that goes. Anthony Edwards, we know all about him.
Yeah.
And that man is so confident in himself. So
Yeah.
if he plays anything like he talks, they're going to be just fine.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. That's probably I mean, we talked about egos in our latest football podcast, but yeah, NBA's got him, and his might be the biggest in the whole league. But you're right. If he can back it up, it doesn't matter much, and we'll see if he can. But yeah, the spotlight's on him with Cat gone.
Yep.
I think Gobert, any team that has Gobert, you're gonna be a good team. We used to talk about this for years, like how he's looking like he's gonna go down as like the best defensive player ever,
Yep.
and how we don't necessarily agree with it, but I mean he's got the stats,
Yeah.
and his teams. I mean, how many one seeds have we seen him be a part of? My gosh, like in the regular season, it adds up, like his effect on other teams, and
Yep.
I mean, there's some good bigs in this league, and if he could just impose them a little bit, it does numbers for his team. But yeah, I think the main factor with the Wolves is how is Anthony Edwards going to be as the sole number one dude?
Yeah. I totally agree with you there. Move on to the last team out of the West, the Nuggets. I mean, hard to ignore when you got Nikola Jokic on your team. Guy is the best player in the NBA, in my opinion. I really think so.
Yeah, I mean the IQ is ridiculous. He's definitely has the best IQ.
Yeah, that's yeah, that's for sure. There's no arguing that one. But I mean, I say the best. I mean, he got his chip, so and I think that put him over the top for me. But anyways, on top of that, you still got Jamal Murray, still got Aaron Gordon, still got Michael Porter Jr. And like when you got guys that are named, Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter Jr., who might be number ones on other teams, were previously, like Gordon specifically on the Magic, to come in to play, basically a role alongside Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic. Your team's really good when that's the structure you got going.
Yeah. Well, and
so,
I think that's a testament to Joker too, because I mean he's got that vibe, and guys like that are fine with taking the back seat to him. They just want to play with him and they want to win. And if you can attract guys like that, I mean, it's a testament to being a stud. And I mean, as an Embiid guy myself, this guy's, it was Embiid or him for MVP many years, and that was frustrating. But you finally see like he is the best center in the league. It took me a while to get there, but yeah, he really is, and guys want to play with him. So they're always going to be in the conversation as long as he's playing the way he is, and the way he plays makes you think he can go for many more years.
mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, the guy's a stud.
I agree. So now we've gotten through the contenders, both the East and West. Talked a little bit about some of those teams. That's great. I think we wrap up this first one here. We've already said Celtics Thunder, final matchup for both of us here.
There is one team I want to quickly discuss for the West that you did not mention. Kind of a sleeper pick. I like the Kings. I have for
Kings,
a while
I can
now.
respect that. I can respect that.
Yeah, I think Fox is awesome, and he's one of my favorite players to watch in the league.
I agree.
And I think Sabonis gives them something that other teams don't have. Like I would struggle to try and find a guy to compare to him, like in current day NBA. Like he's just all around, man. He's really good, and he really puts them over the top in a lot of games. And I just think they're a team that if they're clicking and they're hot, they could make noise and upset some of these, clearer picks in the West.
Yeah. No, I definitely do agree with that, honestly. I think the sheer talent maybe isn't quite on the same level when you look at the whole team. But, with De'Aaron Fox, Sabonis, Murray, you got potential there. Like, it could absolutely happen. So like I said, we got Celtics Thunder. I want to hear in how many games. Because if it happens, I want to look back on this and one of us be right. I'm going to go Celtics in 6.
Okay. That's tough. I didn't even think about this. Ah,
I know, on the spot.
it is on the spot. Jeez. Um, for the sake of being different, Thunder in 7.
You know, fair
I
enough.
think let me just say, if the Thunder win this series, I think it has to be in 7.
Okay. I'm
Yeah.
okay with that. I'm okay with
But,
that.
but yeah, I think the Celtics should be the favorite. But yeah, I'm on the spot, Thunder in 7.
All right. All right. All right. With that, this wraps up our opening basketball episode on Palm City Chucks. This was a great time. I mean, cannot wait to be back next time. We'll talk a little bit more about what's been going on in the season so far, where teams are shaking out. Probably dive a little bit more into the Celtics and Sixers teams specifically. You know, we can go on all day about those,
Yeah.
make a whole movie. But
Oh, dude, we could anything with the NBA. Let
yeah,
us know. I mean, you want us to dive into the past of the NBA? I think we're both more than comfortable and capable of doing that. There's a lot of fun things and fun routes to go in the NBA. So do let us know what you guys are craving.
yeah. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you next week.
Later, PCC.